Alright. Getting set up. Getting it going. Honestly, I just think at this point, I'm gonna let my patrons know. You know, gonna make a post, gonna knock over my laptop in that process, apparently. That's fine. We are professionals. Coming at you on Monday, gonna knock over my laptop in that process, apparently. That's fine. We are professionals. Than that, really. Coming at you on Monday, gonna knock over my laptop in that process, apparently. That's fine. Wind down, so that's what we're gonna do. Doing some streaming, doing some painting. One of my patrons told me today that they enjoy watching these back. So, Steve, if you're watching this, I'm sorry I never paint in your time zone, but thanks for tuning in. The fact that people would put these on for replays is pretty cool to me. So, for anyone out there who doesn't catch us live, that's cool. I don't care. You're still cool for watching this at all. And I appreciate that. And maybe on the weekends I'll vary the stream time a little bit to try and be more inclusive of other time zones. But pretty much this is just my usual like end of day before television hours activity. So, yeah, that's the time I stream, because that's just the time that I stream. There's really not a lot of thought put into this. I was asked to start around 7 so that more people could be there. So I did it. I remember this week, sitting there, spent like an hour untangling a ball of yarn that Hector had gotten into, because I've been trying to crochet this blanket for like the past forever, and it's still a work in progress, this project of mine. But Hector got into the yarn because he likes to chase anything that's string based, and got one of my balls of yarn really tangled up. And I had to spend quite some time untangling it, but that was my after work before dinner activity was fixing a ball of yarn. And at some point while I'm sitting there doing that, I realized that essentially I am just sitting there playing with yarn, and am in fact no different than my cats. So that really just tracks for the whole freaking experience. Let me see if I can get this camera to focus any better. We'll see. Sorry, it's a bit fuzzy, and the lighting's a bit crap. I need to get some lamps in here. So, we'll see what I can do about that in the future. Get a little bit more light, so that you can see a bit more of what's going on. But, today we are continuing painting the troll. He's a cosmic brownie troll, and he's pretty cool. Kiddo, James, I'm an adult. I am not a child. I'm glad you're painting Imperial Fists, though. That sounds cool. They're one of the Space Marine chapters I remember how to recognize, because they're the yellow one. Yellow's the best color, so. Do you have any specific like painter's methods that I know a lot of people are like, ooh, teach us how to paint yellow. That's a hard color to paint. Obviously, I just slop it on straight from the pot. But are you following any particular methodology, or are you just freewheeling with your Imperial Fist yellow technique? Kiddo, jeez. It's so weird being around, like, different groups of people, and, like, in some groups I'm aggressively the oldest, and in some groups I'm aggressively the youngest. It's a very different dynamic depending. I play D&D with all these friends who are younger than me, and, like, there is a surprising amount of youth culture that I do not know anything about, and they get me good on a lot of the things where they're just like, how do you not know this? And I can't explain to them how I don't know things. And that is truly what it feels like to be old. Well, I don't care if you're 55. I'm still a full-grown adult. I may be, young, but I am not a child. Standard bearer using layering. All right, fair enough. That's a way to do it. I like standard bearers. The flags give you plenty of space to, like, express whatever you want, or use water slide transfers, or do cool things. I'm really painting this. I should be painting the snake lady, but I'm procrastinating doing that right now. It's Monday, and we only paint fun things on Monday, I think. Tuesday or Wednesday, I can paint what I'm supposed to be painting. Today, we paint the fun stuff. I'm never assembling minis on a Monday. That's a bad idea. Yeah, no. That ain't gonna happen. Are Imperial Fists your favorite chapter of Space Marines, or are they just really strategic to play? Admittedly, I don't know much of what is good on the table in terms of Space Marines. I would assume that they'd make Ultramarines pretty decent since they're, like, the poster kids, but I have no idea. I haven't played 40k in ages. I should, though. Should find some 40k players and bust out my orcs again. I was unpacking some stuff, and I got to the box that has all my 40k orcs in it, and I looked at them, and I was just like, it's my boys. It's my original OG army of Warhammer boys. And I know people have some armies that are way older, like people have been doing this since they were 7 or younger or whatever, but my boys are only maybe a year and some change old, but it still felt cool to look at a project and be like, oh man, I know so much more about painting now. These are kind of crappy, but in, like, an endearing way, as opposed to an I'm embarrassed to look at these way. Fists suck play-wise, but you love them. Fair enough. I mean, I play orcs, so it's not like I'm always playing to win. Though I have heard that, Cruel Boys are apparently doing pretty well in the tournament circuit for Age of Sigmar right now. Which is fun to see. Doesn't really make a difference to how I run mine, because I'm not choosing the most strategic stuff in the world, but it's nice that I could win with orcs if I wanted to. Collecting and painting since Rogue Trader in the late 80s. Okay, so yeah, you've been around. You've been around since this was a magazine full of basically incomprehensible rules. So that's fair enough. You get to have you got access to, like, all the really, like, goopy miniatures, for lack of a better term. Like, when they were just figuring out how to sculpt and cast stuff in metal and everything looks really just goopy. Like, the original Zote model is so bad. Like, I love him, don't get me wrong, but he's terrible. I'd really love to paint one someday. Speaking of the 80s, last time we were here, everybody was very passionate about their love of the Transformers animated movie that came out in the 80s. I watched it for the first time recently and did not think much of it, but I was told in no uncertain terms by multiple viewers that it was in fact a very good movie and that I was very wrong. So, I didn't realize there was so much passion for it. But it is, I think a lot of people have nostalgia for things in their childhood that were a bit rough around the edges, like Rogue Trader minis and unpolished Transformers movies. So it's nice that there's appreciation for stuff that isn't perfect. My models rarely turn out any degree of perfect, so it's nice that I can look back on my orcs for 40K and be like, oh, they're my boys, even though they're kind of shitty. And hopefully in a couple of years when I'm painting, I don't know, what army am I going to paint after Cruel Boys? That'll be the question. But whatever it is, I hope I'll be able to look back on my Cruel Boys and be like, oh, they're my boys, even though they're kind of crappy. I hope it'll still be filled with fondness. Just paint whatever hot new thing GW puts out. My friend Kraz is getting into Cities of Sigmar, which I know nothing about, like lore or play-wise, but I do know that the model range is just so diverse and so full of weird stuff. I really want to paint the Black Dragon from Cities of Sigmar at some point. I have this idea to, like, do a cities army, but as also Turnip 21 models. I don't think that's an idea that anybody needs, wants, or would use, but I'm kind of just like, yep, that's where my brain is at. I don't know if I'll do that, but there's a good chance that I will. I mean, I can see that dragon that I want to paint being turned into some kind of weird turnip monster, and, you know, there's potential. There's ideas in this old gourd somewhere. Today on phones at my job was not as bad as I was fearing it was going to be. I still am not really sure if I'm doing my job correctly or giving anyone the right information, but I sounded way less dumb today, so I'm going to count that a win. Paint what inspires you. That's what I usually do. Certainly I have some weird inspiration from time to time, but I think in the end, it all works out. No one minds too much what your models look like, so long as you have fun gaming with them. That is what I have found. People are way more accepting of candy orcs than I ever thought they were gonna be. They're just like, yep, okay. That's your army, and you're sticking to it. But we're back in the checker zone for a brief period of today. I'm hoping to knock that out without too much fuss so that we can slap a wash on this guy and Hello. Hector's decided to join us on the table today. Hector, what do you have to say to the good people of the internet? Hector is silent. He does not have any feedback or advice for you. Oh, no. Now he speaks. You can see there from that shot that he almost stepped in my paint palette numerous times. Hi, Keegan. Hello, Josh. Hello, GMJ. Welcome, all of you. Old gourd, swollen with ideas. Just makes me think of Bloodborne. Fear the old gourd. That would be cool. A Bloodborne-inspired Warhammer army? That I could get behind that. I don't know what the best Age of Sigmar faction would be to go Bloodborne with. Maybe like a weird Flesh Eater Courts or a weird Beastman army? Because, like, I don't know. You could do a Canehurst Castle Flesh Eater Courts, probably. With, like, those freaky spider things. Not spiders, mosquito things. You know what I'm talking about? Keegan, you are more than welcome to miss as many streams as you like. Unless they're me assembling something and crying about super glue being all over my hands, I will likely leave them up. So you can catch the repeats if you want. You can not catch the repeats if you don't want. It doesn't make too much of a difference. But they're available. Mostly because I forget to take them down. But they are available. Yeah, the Flesh Eaters would be cool. Decided on a theme for my custom warband today. Iron warriors that succumb to the Geller Parks. I call them the Tarnished. Their colors are rotten flesh gray and bruised purple. Ugh. Sounds gnarly. Absolutely gnarly. You're channeling some Nurgle vibes there. Get those guys some band-aids is what Hector says. They need it for their bruises. Those vampire guys. Soulblight Gravelords. Yeah, I do have some Soulblight Gravelords, and they do kind of have a Bloodborne vibe to them. Like, Lauka Vi, I could easily see being a Bloodborne boss. But I already started painting them, like, Series of Unfortunate Events inspired, so I don't really want to repaint them in a different color scheme. I also don't love the way that they play super much. Because, like, skeletons and zombies are so freaking slow. And the bulk of your army is, like, you know, that's your infantry. Blood Knights are cool as hell. As are the big heroes, but the troopers, the infantry, kinda meh on them. I don't really love the zombie models. And the skeleton models I do like, but they're slow as hell. There's a really Bloodborne-looking guy in Cursed City. Yeah, that's Yeltsin Derek. I have Cursed City. I have it all painted up. I did that a while ago. I could show you guys if you want. Let me know if you'd like to see it, but yeah, I do have Cursed City. It's all painted, and I'm waiting until my friends get tired of playing Townsfolk Tussle, so that maybe we can learn how to play Cursed City together. Because it would be cool to, you know, play with the board games that I own. You were just going to call them vampire counts? I think a lot of people do. I, again, was not around in the fantasy battle days, so I don't have that old lingo hanging about. The Venthyr in World of Warcraft are pretty cool. I've never played World of Warcraft. You had to pay to play that game, so I just never did. Nowadays you have to pay to buy most games, but This was back in the day when I can just go on Neopets for free, and I had absolutely no need to pay for World of Warcraft. I was quite happy to play Flash games for hours and argue with other people about which Neopet was the coolest. I would still get into a Neopets debate, honestly, if someone were willing to engage me. I have some pretty old Neopets accounts that every now and again I like to just revisit and see what's going on. For a while I had an active Neopets guild well into like 2019 and would check in with them on occasion, see what everybody was getting up to. But ever since that's kind of fallen off, I've fallen off revisiting that site. I think maybe I've just got other stuff going on in my life. It's finally over. Could use those Witch Hunter Inquisitor guys from Fantasy as hunters. I don't know if they existed in... See, I think maybe, like, another take to go is if I did cities, and not turn up 28 cities, I could do Yarnum as, like, the city and have a bunch of witch hunters and stuff. I don't remember what models still exist, but, I mean, there must be some. There's gotta be a couple of them. But I don't really know if I want to have, like, the hunters be the army. I'm more interested in the monster designs being the army, because... I mean, as cool as the hunter looks in Bloodborne, and I guess it would be kind of fun to have an army of the executioners with their wheels and their funny little triangle helmets. The monster designs are where it's at. They're the cool part to me. Recently, the veil between the afterlife and the real world was shattered. One of the domains of death was Revendreth, where a bunch of vampires torture the pride out of you. That sounds decidedly unpleasant. Sorry that happened to World of Warcraft. Or maybe good that happened to World of Warcraft. I don't know if we're pro or anti World of Warcraft. Your kids love the Penguin game online? Club Penguin? Hell yeah! I remember that. Yeah. Yeah. Club Penguin was, that's going back to... I don't think I played that one a ton, but I certainly remember it being discussed. I think my little sister was more into Club Penguin than I was. Vethir are pretty base. They let you drag a dog abuser through a field of rabbit beasts. That seems like that kind of ironic punishment stuff that Nagash is all about in Warhammer. So yeah, that seems to be a theme with like undead. Even going back to my boy Charles Dickens, Ebenezer Scrooge's little tirade, his little night on the town is pretty much like, hey, this would be really ironic if it happened to you. You know? People love that. Oh shit, something happened to the camera. What is going on? Let me see if I can fix this. Ugh, sorry. Troubleshooting. Apologies for the technical difficulties. Not only is it a Monday for me, it must be a Monday for my laptop and for Droid Cam too. You're not gonna convince me that Nurgle and Bloodborne are the same, okay? We don't go to the same school. That's not what's happening here. That is not the vibe. No, that is incorrect. Sorry, GMJ. That is just not, it's not, no. That's not the vibe. Absolutely fucking not. That is not happening. Say curse shit like that and shut my cameras down. That's exactly what's going on. I mean, yeah, but I don't really think of Bloodborne, like the characters in it, as being drippy or full with pus and boils and oh god, I just don't even like talking about Nurgle models. It's not fun to talk about, even. I do not know what is up with Droid Cam today. I'm trying to get it to work. Sorry. Apologies. Doing my best here. They are drip. They're not drippy. No, I mean, maybe the guys in, like, the DLC with the big heads are kind of drippy and they talk about water dripping. So I'll give you that. But, like, the average Bloodborne guy, he is not a drippy man. He's just a guy. He's hairy, but he's not drippy. I don't know what's going on. I'm so sorry. Let me see. Because I know it's Droid Cam that's being a dingus. It's not YouTube. I don't have a great solution for when it screws up. So I am gonna try a few things and hopefully get this working. I don't know why I decided that today it would have a little meltdown, but it sure did. And I'm hoping it's not my camera, because if my camera dies, then that's gonna make doing videos a little bit more complicated. I'm apologizing for the camera, trying to fix that, and then I will respond to all the things you are sending in the chat. Gonna try fully disconnecting it and reconnecting it. Again, just general apologies for this. I am my own troubleshooting team. The sound is good though, yeah. Sound I have wired directly to the computer, so I'm hoping the sound is good. I would hope so. If it isn't, then this microphone is not worth it. Okay, we got footage back. We got it back. I have to not throw my camera on the floor, and put it back in its little stand. But we are back in business. There we go. There we go. I knew I could fix it. Okay, well, your current project is a dark apostle for your guides, building him out of a Primaris lieutenant and some Nurgle bits. You'll post pics on Insta. Okay, cool. Cool. Everybody, what is it? Like, I talk so much trash about Nurgle every 6 seconds that I am talking about Warhammer. Like, how do you guys tolerate me just trashing the faction that you play? I am merciless in my pursuit of not liking Nurgle, and I'm not shy about it. I just tell you your boys are gross and creepy and weird, and you're just like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine, Fives. You can slander our boys. That's okay. Ooh, that's bad. That's not a good checker. That's okay. You know what? We're not trying to do our best work on this one. We're just trying to get him done, so... I am probably not going to clean up that little mischeck, and that's okay. That is okay. This paintbrush is really not happy with me. I think I let paint dry on the top. I am my own geek squad. Yes, James, that is okay. You like Slaanesh? Okay. Okay. Slaanesh is like my 3rd favorite Chaos God. I have a bunch of White Dwarf magazines, because of course I do. And I saw someone that made a, like, custom kit bash of a Slaanesh guy, but he was riding one of the Ideneth Deepkin, like, seahorse thingies, but they replaced its head with one of the Slaanesh, like, anteater guy head things. It was really cool. It's a very cool kit bash. The paint job was like this dark, dusty blue and like a midnight blue. It was very cool. Lots of grays and purples too. Nurgle is very kind, accepting, infectious. No! No. Keep him away. He's spooky. Not a fan. Not a fan. Okay, so that's the checkers done. And he's done. He just needs some spots before I put the wash on him. Probably gonna touch up that little red cable because there's some white space there. We could be a little bit better about that. We don't have to be, but we could be. I like to think it's made of licorice because it would be funny. Anteater guy. Okay, you can't expect me to remember the names of every model in Warhammer. That's too much. I said Anteater guy, and you know what I meant, so, you know. Got a flawless host army half done. Very cool. Have you painted Pretty Boy Sigvald for your army yet? I know he's one of the newer ones that came out. But my buddy's got a Slaanesh army that he's had a portion of professionally painted, including Sigvald. I would love to see someone turn Sigvald into Alucard from Castlevania. I think it would be a good thing to see. You're gonna buy some paint marines and paint them in a Candyland theme and tag you. I think you probably mean Space Marines. Oh, no, you mean Plague Marines. No, don't do that. Oh, jeez, because then I gotta like it because it's candy, but I'll also think it's gross because they're Plague Marines. Why would you do that to me, Keegan? You can't combine something I love with something I hate. That is just not fair. No, I will not be won over to Nurgle. My favorite Chaos God is Tzeentch. We are diametrically opposed. Most are the early editions, but not all. Fair enough. Fair enough. You had said that you've been a vintage collector, so to speak. Oh, did you guys see for Blood Bowl They announced that there's gonna be a fucking Yeti. First of all, Mothman Blood Bowl player when? Like, let's get our priorities in line here. I'm happy with a Yeti. I'm glad we have some cryptids, but I would really like a Mothman to play Blood Bowl. I know it's a niche West Virginian cryptid that probably the guys at Games Workshop have no frame of reference for, but Mothman, who plays Blood Bowl? Blood Bowl Mothman. I think this is a concept that we can monetize. I'd like to see it. I'd buy one. That's one sale right there. One individual sale. It's probably not enough to justify an entire model design, but I think we should be allowed to have a Mothman on our Blood Bowl teams. Alright, Keegan, you have fun with your tabletop simulator. If you're playing Warhammer, let me know who wins. Let me know who you fought. Have a good time. Sigvald is so lovely. You said it's definitely a model that has some Slanesh vibes. I will give it that, you know? Give it that. Sigvald is definitely not a model that I would want to paint because the subject is just pretty boy human. And that's all you get. Like, at least with the snake lady that I have to paint, there's some snake going on. Sigvald is really just a human man. And he has some demon horns, but that's it. Like, I cannot pretend that the man is a monster. He is very much a man. Who maybe just picked up some horns at an anime convention. That's all that's going on there. They've seen the movie, you bet? The Mothman Prophecies? You mean the movie that Mothman is only in for, like, I don't know, like 20 minutes? I wish there was more Mothman in the Mothman Prophecies and less of that, like, guy. I don't even remember. I have it on VHS literally sitting right next to me. But, like, the Mothman makes a car crash, and then most of the movie isn't even about the Mothman. I think we need a more Mothman-centric film in future. Old World is way better than AOS in your opinion. I mean, I have to respectfully disagree in my biased opinion because I've never played any Old World things, and Cruel Boys don't exist in the Old World. So, I wouldn't have an army if we went Old World, which would kind of be a problem. Like, I know sacrifices had to be made, and maybe you lost an army that you loved, but I have this army that I love now. And since I have no nostalgia to cloud my judgment or, you know, sway my heart any particular way, I am very biased towards keeping the army that I have. I like it quite a good bit. I do wish I was around for earlier iterations of Warhammer, though. I feel like it would have been fun. Play them as orcs? Yeah, could do. Could do. Nothing stopping them from just being regular orcs. But yeah, I was excited about the Yeti. I don't know if he works with any of my Blood Bowl teams that I have, but I'm gonna have to find out. Because, having a Blood Bowl Yeti just seems like fun. Viva Bretonia. I don't think they're bringing back Bretonia anytime soon, bro. Sorry. You can have the Imperial Nobility team in Blood Bowl. You kind of got it in some of the cities of Sigmar, but I think for the most part, Old Bretonia's gone to the great rainbow bridge of dead Warhammer armies in the sky. It had its time. That time is no more. But I mean, I guess you can really play Warhammer Fantasy Battles whenever you want. Like, the rules still exist, as do the models. If you want to play, just find someone else who also wants to play and have yourselves a game. It's not like that option is not available. Old World is coming back. That's the cruelest thing you've... Listen, I'm just telling you like it is. It's the truth. Unfortunately, like, they're not bringing back the Old World, man. They're pretty clearly heavily monetarily invested in Age of Sigmar, to the point where they're making up new orcs so they can copyright orc words. And I haven't watched Warhammer Plus, but I'm pretty sure they're not making Warhammer the Old World as a series. They're presumably making stuff about Age of Sigmar. It's just how it is. Like a Bloodborne style gunshot to my heart. That's a trick weapon almost. I never used guns in Bloodborne. I went through that whole game just meleeing my way through the gosh darn world. I don't even know how I got red there. I'm just gonna highlight it away. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cover that up. That doesn't belong there. That is a highlight now. I'm so clever. GW is redoing it out in a couple years. Listen, James. You keep waiting, okay? And if GW does bring back the Old World, A, you can tell me I told you so, and it's always fun to be right. And I will paint up an Old World model. I will find you somehow. That sounded more threatening than I meant it to be. I will reach out to you to contact you, and I will send you a model in the mail free of charge. That is how confident I am that GW is not bringing back the Old World and replacing Age of Sigmar with it. It's, you know... It probably would be Forge World too, which would just make it extra obnoxious, because the only thing I've bought from Forge World is Zotes. And the only reason I've bought Zotes from Forge World is because I can't buy them anywhere else. And I think it's a real shame. Forge World doesn't let you support your local game store, and I like to support my local game store. I try to as often as possible. Oh man, you guys, you complain too much and now my camera shut off again. I've announced it already, so there. Yeah, sure. Show me the community post, James. Show me the evidence. Where's the evidence? Goddamn camera. Sorry for just... telling you, you guys are doing this. You're causing the chaos. There we go. That time it was an easier Geek Squad fix. Listen, what do you want me... Like, how am I supposed to have an attachment to the Old World when I never... It's not there. No one is around who wants to teach me about fantasy battles. I'm not gonna spend, like, I don't know, $300 tracking down an Old World army so I can play. And frankly, sirs, I don't know how I feel about square bases. They're a little weird. Go to the community site and look up Old World? Okay. Okay, hang on. Let me get this highlight here. If you say they've brought it back, I mean, A, they usually make their announcements early in the day, and I'm sure I would have seen it by now. But you telling me that the old world has come back and is replacing Age of Sigmar, I'll check. I will go to warhammercommunity.com and I'll see what they've got. Doop. This is what you wanted, James. Specifically you, James. Let's see. I'm on their front page. I see Warhammer Age of Sigmar roadmap. I see introducing Codex Eldari. I see the post about the Blood Bowl Yeti, the most exciting thing that we've seen so far. Look, I'm looking. I don't see anything about the old world being back, sir. I'm sorry. It's not here. That ain't it. Oh, not okay, so you're saying it's just there. Not that it's okay, because see, that's what I'm telling you isn't going to happen. It's not going to replace Age of Sigmar. Because if I look up Old World, I see a bunch of unrelated articles. I just see the thing about Nockmund and the Tau Empire, the weird models for Necromunda, I think, some Aeronautica Imperialis stuff. But even then, I don't see, like, the old world is cool. Oh, nope, those are pre-order the Elf Slayers of Mordor from Forge World. I mean, I think that's Lord of the Rings. About 2 or 3 months ago. Bro, that is some old news. That is some old news. Yeah, it does have a terrible search function, honestly. Alright. Further back. Oh, look. Little Christmas goblin. That's cute. I'm back in November now. I'm not seeing it. Oh my gosh, I just saw a post about the Tarantulos brood. I completely forgot that I have that. That's just a model that I own. I own that half of the box. I should build and paint that. I could do that right now, but I won't because I'm focused on what I'm doing. Bro, I'm all the way back in October. I'm sorry. I ain't seeing it. If the old world... Oh, there it is! Discover Warhammer the Old World's ultimate getaway for exiled lords and rotten princes. Is this what you're talking about? This little Game of Thrones ass map they threw up? I don't know what this is. I'm not going to read the whole article, but it's a map and there are some crests on it. Okay. You know what? Back in October, they were talking about the old world. Hi, Anno. Welcome back to You Have Chosen to Watch This Stream Instead of Sleep. Did the camera die again? And no one told me? You just let me ramble about frickin' old world? No, okay. I'm behind on the stream time. I need to be live. We're good. The camera is good, right? Someone just confirm that, and we can move on. I don't remember what I was doing before you guys distracted me with your talk of ancient riddles and old bygone eras. I'm just gonna assume that the stream is working until someone tells me that it's not. So, or I notice it for myself. Would you lie to me? I don't know, James. I don't know. I don't know you. I would like to think you wouldn't lie to me, but I think if the only thing standing between bringing the old world back and was just telling me a little white lie that it was coming back, I think you would tell that lie. I think you would do it to bring the old world back. So I don't know if I can fully trust you. But I appreciate the display of loyalty. I really do. As a person who has to paint a lot of orcs, and orcs being notorious at not respecting anything, I appreciate the fact that you think I'm important enough to not lie to. Hector appreciates it as well. You need to stop engaging with my old world vitriol and get your model painted the 20 minutes before your weekly home game. What the fuck are you doing procrastinating your RPG by listening to me complain about games that don't exist anymore? Also, it's not vitriol because I'm just spitting facts, sir. It's just the truth. I hate to break it to you, but like, there is nothing that I have said about the old world that isn't true. I didn't say that it sucked. I didn't say anything like that. All I said is that it's not going to replace Age of Sigmar, which it's not, because they're not doing that, and that it's not likely that I'll ever play it, because it's hard to find, you know, it's not worth it to me to find the models and stuff like that. Neither of those are falsehoods. They're the truth. Vitriol is a bit strong. That's true. This is my version of the truth. You did come here to my channel knowing I have a limited perspective and am just one person. So, I guess these opinions are my opinions and are not necessarily representative of the Warhammer hobby as a whole, if you want me to give a freaking disclaimer on the subject. I think we're ready for a wash, though. It looks like we're ready for a wash. I think I've base coated everything. So we're gonna wash it. We're not gonna wash the actual troll, because he's gonna be his happy little self. I think I'm satisfied with how he looks, but everything else is getting the sauce. It's getting the sauce, heck! Yeah! He is lying in the other room, just rolling around on the carpet. It's very cute. Like a venom spitting serpent. Jeez, that's harsh, GMJ. That is harsh. You just paint the minis, you don't play either. That's fair enough. I bet if I looked through the old world sculpts, I would find a lot to love. Is everybody happy with that as a final resolution? Probably not. It's the internet. People are rarely satisfied unless your opinion matches theirs 100%. You're just kidding around. Yeah, I figured as much. We can joke around here. Not a problem. Not a problem. I know y'all don't think lesser of me just because I didn't play your version of Warhammer. Hector does, though. Hector does take everything to heart because he's a baby. What days are the new Book of Boba Fett episodes coming out? I think that's Wednesdays. Is it freaking Wednesday yet? I need more space content. I did watch the next episode of Jujutsu Kaisen, because I've been working my way through that. And, like, they're clearly setting one guy up to be a villain. And his villain origin story is just that he's sitting in a movie theater, and there's a bunch of people being really freaking loud while he's trying to watch the movie. And gosh darn, like, I'm not going to become an anime villain at any point in time, but I could, if I were an anime bad guy, that feels like a totally justifiable origin story to me. because people who do that are freaking annoying. If you go to the movies and are talking and on your phone during the movie, I do have a not small amount of contempt for you. Take my movie going very seriously. I haven't been to the movies in a while, though. I want to go. I wonder if they still have showings of that Japanese film Belle out right now. I meant to go see that, and as usual with a lot of the films I mean to go see, I don't actually get around to seeing them, and then have to wait for them to hit the wilds of the internet. Although I have plenty of recommendations from you guys to work my way through, so I'll be getting through them. Don't you fear. They're on my list. They're gonna happen. I think I might have an episode of Archive 81 queued to go once I finish my painting for the night. So that should be fun. See what happens. I found a new dumb cooking competition show to occupy my, lunchtime, half awake, also breakfast time window of half clarity. It's not good, but they have one of my favorite contestants from Great British Bake Off as a judge, so that's fun. Villains talk through the movie. Yes, they do. They do. And they use their phones. Like, what? How do you think your phone call is more important right now than whatever is going on the screen? Like, y'all, I saw The Green Knight with people that I don't associate with anymore for other reasons. But we are in a medieval art house cinema right now. Like, that is what is happening on screen. And you think it's acceptable to be sitting next to me and then pull out your phone and text a person? I was like, excuse me, put that away. Like, this is a film. And it's like a film too. This is a pretentious one, kids. Gosh. Honestly. People who talk or pull out their phone. Like, I understand if you're making a side comment to your friend about someone, elbowing them and being like, LOL, that's you. That's one thing. But yeah, don't talk in movies. Just don't do it. That is for villains. Villains and haters of the old world alike both talk in movies. Can we agree on that? Did I redeem myself with that comment? Probably not. I think it's great, though, that people have such a love for the old world, if I'm honest. Like, GW hasn't done crap with it, but there is a passionate community of people. Even what? Are we in the third edition of Age of Sigmar? And people are still like, nah, this ain't got nothing on fantasy battles? I don't know how long fantasy battles have been gone for, but y'all passionate. Y'all passionate. I'm always entitled to my opinion. Thank you. Even if it's wrong. Appreciate that. Like, I would try out fantasy battles if someone showed up with fantasy battle stuff. It was like, hey, please play this Warhammer game with me. Like, I'd do that. I'm not willing to invest in it monetarily speaking. Warhammer is already so gosh darn expensive. My friend just got into Cities of Sigmar, and they got the Start Collecting box. And then we're talking about like points in the game because they've never played before. And she's really excited and she's going through all the models and like she's like, "Oh, how many points is this and how many points is that?" It's only like 375 points and she's like, "You're kidding me. I can't even play a 500-point game with this box." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's Warhammer." Waiting for wash to dry. That'll be me soon. And instead of waiting for wash to dry, I will either pick up and continue base coating some orcs that I have lying around, or I'll be responsible and pick up the snake lady and paint more of her. But I think probably I'll just keep base coating orcs because it's Monday, and I will save the serious work for Tuesday through Friday. I think, Monday and the weekends should be reserved for painting the things that you are passionate about. I also, unfortunately, will have to assemble some more miniatures soon, but they are miniatures for my secret project that I can't tell you guys about, so we don't even get the fun of putting them together. How is an opinion wrong by its very nature? Usually it's not. There are some opinions that are just wrong, but they're less opinions and more like, I think that, trans people don't deserve rights. Like, that's an opinion that you have that is just categorically wrong. That's one of those ones where I'm like, that's wrong. If you're like, Age of Sigmar is worse than Fantasy Battles, then that's an opinion I can live with. I don't really care what your stance on that is, because it's not gonna lessen my enjoyment of painting orcs. So, You love assembly. Well, I'm glad that is I want to find what it is about assembly that people love. I really do. Because I hate it. I hate it so much. It is the worst part of the process for me, hands down. GMJ, you are a mad lad. You've got your game in 10 minutes and you're still base coating. I'm gonna scoot my chair so we might get some better lighting and less shadows on this mini so I can actually see what I'm supposed to be painting. That might be helpful. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's better. Tell what to your son and he'd kick my butt. That assembly is not a part of the process I enjoy? Oh, yeah, exactly. There you go. See, that's an opinion that people are not allowed to have. Also, kudos to your son. That's really cool. I hope he's doing well. Thank you for being an accepting parent as well. Not everybody can do that. And frankly, I wish my parents had been more accepting of me being non-binary, because it freaking is not fun to, not have someone be like, "Yep, that's cool. We still think you're a worthwhile person." Yeah. So, I'm very happy that there are people out there who get to have good resolutions to their coming out experience and stuff like that. And the world is growing more and more friendly towards trans people, which is really nice. Hopefully we continue to move in that direction and things get better all around. That would really be great. We didn't regress into some sort of spooky, horrible dystopia any more than we already are. Aw, that's great. That's great. Full family support. Man, that is fantastic. I'm so happy. I love hearing stories like that. So good to hear. It's nice to know that is out there for people. Really, really is. This wash just about applied. I think he's looking pretty good. Honestly, pretty happy with him. I think I should figure out something to do, like once the wash is dry and I go back into the detailing, to make these clubs look a little bit more like cotton candy. I might like sponge on some white and make it look a bit like they're dusted with sugar or something. But I mean, that's a cosmic brownie troll and an orc riding him right there. That is aggressively cosmic brownie. You can't tell me that is not what that is. I mean, you can. You're wrong, but you can. Staying hydrated is an important aspect of the miniature painting process. Gotta remember to drink water. I've been trying to drink more water and less stuff that is full of sugar. I don't think it will surprise anyone on this channel that I have quite the sugar addiction. I frequently try to stop drinking soda and fail at it like almost every day of my life. I need to get better with that. It is unfortunate. And now I live so close that if I don't have soda in the house, which used to be my strategy, I just didn't have it, you know? But now I can walk to the corner store and get a can of Coke for like 75 cents. And there's never a day where I'm not able to find 3 random quarters lying around. It's just an endless cycle. At least it's just Coca-Cola and not something worse, but doesn't bode well for me and my attempts to consume less sugar and less caffeine. We trying. We struggling. Forgot to write the colors for my fist, so I'm having to go step by step to recreate the exact yellow. Man, isn't that the worst? Where you figure out how to do something, and you're like, oh yeah, this looks dope. I'm gonna do this on all of my models. And then you're like, I don't remember how I did that thing that I literally just did. And you're like, I must have done it somehow. Like, I'm looking at it. I did it, so I know that I can do it, but I can't do it. That's happened to me a few times. It's devastating. Absolutely devastating sometimes. When I can't recreate the colors that I know I can recreate or should be able to recreate. That banner, guess what? That's also going to have checkerboard pattern. Do you know why? Because I have no self-control. None. Whatsoever. Struggle to paint yellow is real. Yeah. People say it's a difficult color. I say slap it on directly out of the pot, but that is not the most nuanced way of painting it, for sure. Got a whole army painted. That's impressive. So is it just Imperial Fists, or do you have stuff from Rogue Trader that you've been, like, what is the scale of your collection, James? I'm very interested. Since you've been playing this longer than I've been alive, I'm just curious to know what that looks like in terms of how many different armies and games and stuff like that you've got, because it's pretty cool. Never did follow up on if anyone wanted to see the Cursed City models that I have, but got them somewhere in a box. Not somewhere. I know where they are. I unpacked that box. I know where they are. My Gene Stealer Colt color scheme calls for a lot of yellow, and whenever I paint dead Marines on the base and stuff, it's always Imperial Fists, because of the Marines most frequently on Necromunda. I didn't know that there were space Marines on Necromunda. I guess I just kind of think of it as the Hive City, and forget that it's also, like, a planet with other stuff going on. Plus, I don't have any of the rulebooks or models, so... I mean, that's a lie. I have some Necromunda terrain models, but I don't have, like, a gang. I should make a gang. That'd be fun. We could make a gang. I've talked about it before, I think. I have a couple gang plans, though I've never created one that I actually went with. I think probably the reason I haven't bought into Necromunda is because, for the most part, by and large, it is just humans. And it's not like aliens or monsters. It's just guys. Hey, I mean, that's one way to do it. To have a good, like, lore-based reason to paint. To get better at a painting technique. I didn't know that, I don't know too much about, Necromunda the planet, so... If it is beset by Space Marines and Gene Stealer cults, then, you know... So be it. I did have an idea the other day that I was talking about, You'd be happy to give me a hand figuring out the gang creation? Yes, please, and thank you. I would very much appreciate that. We will message over the Patreon and figure that out, because that would be fun. I'd like that very much. I can pitch you some concepts for the gangs that I'm thinking of, and you can be like, that fits with the lore of Necromunda, and is a cool idea, or that doesn't, and you should come up with a different idea. 'Cause I'm certainly full of ideas, like, 1,000% of the time. It's the execution that doesn't always happen. White primer, Uriel yellow, couple thin coats, Agrex wash, Phalanx yellow, edge highlight. Alright, that's the secret for your army then. Very cool. I meant less, what colors do you paint on them, and more like, what does your collection look like? Like, in addition to Imperial Fist, like, what old world army did you have? Were you very invested in the Birdman of Katraza? Do you have, like, you know... I keep referencing Zotes because they're my favorite, but do you have any Zotes? If so, how many? What are their names? Can I see them? Other aspects of... I just want to know, like, the cool parts of Rogue Trader in the old world. Like, who were the goons? I like little goofy guys. I want to see more goofy guys. I feel like that's something that Age of Sigmar is lacking. We don't have enough goofs. We got lots of serious guys, but we don't got no goofs. We need more goofs. You got Empire and Elves. Okay, cool. And Ogres. Or maybe you're just saying that Ogres are the goofy ones. Because, yeah, they kind of are. Like, my cruel boys are not, they're not silly. Except Stabgrot. We do love Stabgrot. I have not yet painted Stabgrot, because honestly, I don't know that I'll ever kill a boss with Stabgrot. He's not worth it for the points that he costs, even if Stabgrot is adorable. I should find a model to just put Stabgrot on the base of, because maybe I'll paint up Stabgrot and stick him on the troll's base, or put him. I don't think I'll put him on the vulture's base. I feel like that needs to be serious still, but I could have him like hanging out of one of the cages on the zebra cake monster. He could be there. I'll see about incorporating Stabgrot into another piece. He's worth it. And he wouldn't really take that long to paint. He's adorable, but he's not overcomplicated. Do a Cruel Boy gang? That'd be cool. So when I was first talking about Cruel Boys with someone in my local painting club, he misheard me, and he thought I said Pool Boys. Pool. I have kind of wanted to just, like, make, like, some beach bum orcs ever since, and have, like, little Hawaiian shirt patterns painted on them, and stuff like that. It's really dumb, but it is a funny mishear of Cruel Boys, and it'll never not make me chuckle. Use counts as, yeah, could do. I mean, it's not like Necromunda doesn't have cool models. I just don't own them. It's my last threads of self-control. I think Kill Team might be viable for me in a 40k universe, because, like, I have a bunch of orcs already. I have a bunch of Adeptus Mechanicus that I should do something with. But I don't know that I want to build an entire freaking Adeptus Mechanicus army, because it would take a really long time. Armed with pool nets and such. Yeah, I was thinking of getting the Underworld's Cruel Boys warband, because they'd be kind of fun, and I think they already have some, like, nets and stuff like that would make it pretty easy to do up. It's Pool Boys. But, I mean, I traded with a friend, so I have 2 orc halves of the Dominion box. I painted up all the troops, essentially, but I have an extra, kill a boss on Great Gash Tooth and stuff like that. And I have the Merc Knob with Belchabana and things like that, so there's plenty of options. It means I would have to, like, play the Beach Boys every time they come out to fight, too, which would be really funny. I think I have a Beach Boys record for my record player somewhere. It was like $2 at the store, and I was like, yeah, I like the Beach Boys enough to pick this up. We got through Monday, though, guys. We made it. Tuesday is not as hard as Monday, and that's what's up next. Pool noodle weapons. Yeah, I was thinking of doing, like, putting little sunglasses on them somehow, and for the Gash Tooth, I was gonna try and make, like, a life preserver floaty that it's got, and I think putting water wings on some of the Hobgrots would be funny. Like, I have a lot of silly ideas for it. It's just, do I have the time, energy, and focus to make this a reality? And I think the answer to that question is probably no. But we'll see what happens. Unfortunately, since I do actually have to, like, paint up an army for a tournament, I kind of gotta focus on, finishing that. And then I can worry about goofy stuff. Between tournament army, the models I have to finish painting for other people, and content for the channel, I'm kind of like, I don't know if Pool Boys fits in there. Hopefully it does. Someday. Orcs and Speedos. I mean, it might not be so bad. I don't really think orcs got bits. They're just mushrooms, so they probably wouldn't even need Speedos. They're probably just Ken dolling it down there. I do think little swim trunks would be cuter than Speedos anyway. Plus, I mean, these Cruel Boys, they have, like, they've got these little, like, kilt kind of things going on that could easily be beach towels. So, I think that's probably the easier conversion direction to take it in. Just little beach towels. Make a really tiny, like, mimosa for one of them to be holding. There's a lot of good ideas. The idea factory keeps on churning. I made it worse, not better. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to. I thought I was helping. I apologize. As you can see from the way this drum is moving around, I never did get the little drummer boy's drum to sit back on his little tummy the way it was supposed to. So it is just in motion. His drum is alive and bouncing around. And that's okay. He's not perfect. I'm not perfect. But he's a valuable part of my Cruel Boys army because he's the only one with a drum. He's got a song in his heart, and he's not afraid to share it with the world. We'll have to come up with an extra special name for him because he is kind of my favorite of the ones that we built together on stream. Again, I say we built. I built them and cried about it because I was very bad at it. But they got done in the end. I don't know why I keep saying we. That's weird, isn't it? That's gotta be weird. Is it weird? I think it's weird. Jury's out on whether it's weird or not. Can't be any weirder than Cruel Boy conversions, at least, so that's secure in my head. I've got far more cursed ideas, some of which I'm acting on though, so never you fear. There's always gonna be something a little bit crazy. I don't know. It's convention to say we for streams. It seems to be the natural thing. That's good, yeah. I mean, you guys were there. Some of you were there witnessing it, so that counts. Providing moral support or just funny commentary while I was gluing my fingers together. You know what some of my favorite models to assemble are? Endless spells. You know why? Because you just put like 2 pieces together, or sometimes they're just 1 piece of plastic. Boom. Assembly done. I recently had to purchase some endless spells, And looking at them, I was like, wow, I don't even need an assembly guide. They're really easy to put together. I appreciated that. There is something nice about base coating because I've already made all the important choices and I know that they'll work because they've worked on my other orcs, so all I have to do is wait for it to come together again. The initial base coat does look kind of ugly, but I know that in the end, when I put the wash on and I do the highlights right, it all comes together to look pretty dope. Trust the process, as they say. First of the Garf Marines is fully base coated in orange. Excellent. Did you manage to do it in time for your RPG session? You have a total of 9 armies so far. Wow, that is so cool. So you've got Imperial Fist, you've got Elves, you've got Order. I think you said Ogres as well? What else do you have? Trying to think what else was Old World, or maybe it's 40k. I mean, I don't know that the 40k factions have changed so much, so they're not as much, but I like Seraphon were Old World, right? Lizardmen. You got Skaven. Skaven were old. They had Skaven in the before times. I think they had Skaven in the before times. Okay, no ogres. You were just talking about how ogres could be goofy, I think. They had to have had goblins and orcs. You can't have fantasy battles without goblins and orcs. There's no universe in which they didn't have goblins and orcs. You need to go immediately. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, get out of here. Go enjoy your game. Have a good time. Let me know how it goes. And also, show me those Garf Marines later. I want to see them. You keep hiding them. I won't stand for this. I demand the Garfield Marines. It's Monday. I demand them. I'll put out some little tiny plastic lasagna and see if that will entice the Garf Marines to show up. Be really funny. It is Monday. Why are you still here? I told you to go. Go play your RPG. Everybody lingers around here for like an extra half hour after they were supposed to be gone. Y'all killing me. So, no ogres. Did I guess any of your other armies, though? Was it Skaven? Was it orcs and goblins? Was it, Seraphon? I think those are the only other ones that I mentioned. Those might be the only other old world armies that I know were old world armies off the top of my head. Except, like, I know vampire counts were a thing. But that's all I know. There aren't a whole lot of old world things that I know about. Tyranids, Space Wolf, Dark Angel Successor, Blood Angel Successor, Orcs, correct, Sisters, Fantasy Orcs, also correct, Imperial Fists, Chaos Marines, Fist Successor, plus the Space Hulk minis. Okay, so I don't go to Space Marines. Please explain to me, what is the difference between, like, a Space Marine chapter and then a Successor chapter? Because people talk about it, and I just kind of smile and nod and pretend like I know what's going on, but in reality, I don't. Like, what makes them different from just regular, stock, standard Space Marines? What is going on there that sets them apart? Sorry to make you type so much information, but I'd like to know. Apologies to anyone who heard the train whistle as the train just rolled through my neighborhood. That is the late night train. Hopefully there will not be another one. Got all that painted. He's got so many little flaps and stuff. I guess this guy, he's got his spear raised. He's probably really important. He looks like he could be the leader. I mean, I think the guy with the drum should be the leader because he has a drum, which just makes him cooler than your average orc. But what do I know about? I mean, I guess I can make him the leader. They're my orcs. I can make up all the little rules that I want. But I think I'll just give him a special name. He deserves a nice one. I need to pull up my list of names for my orcs because they're all named after poisonous plants and pick out some. Because I still need to name the guy that's on top of the Sludge Raker Beast, and now I need to name the guy that's on top of the Troll, too, so I've got some important ones to name. I'll have to get around to doing that. I usually just write their names on the underside of their bases. Do you guys name your models? I name all of my models. Like, when I am ready for this tournament, even all of the little hobgrots are going to have names. Each one of them, an individual, ready to go to war. The organizer of our league, he doesn't name models unless they distinguish themselves in battle in some way, shape, or form. And then he's like, I'm going to give this one a name. And then he doesn't ever remember to give them names. Meanwhile, in our Blood Bowl league, everybody has named all of the models on their team. And it's very funny, like, when one dies, because they'll be like, oh no, this silly name guy has died. One One of the players even named several of his goblins after everybody in the league. So there's a goblin named Fiver, and I've told him that I hope that Fiver survives the league, which isn't always possible for a goblin, but also becomes the strongest goblin by the time the league ends. I hope he can make that a reality, but I don't think that that's likely to happen. First 9 legions were broken into chapters. All successors come from one of those 9. They share a prime mark, but are now independent and have strayed in various ways and fighting styles. Okay, gotcha. So your Imperial Fist successor, they started as an Imperial Fist, but then kind of did their own thing. They broke away from it. I got you. Sometimes they're just wounded, but other times they can die. You can kill players permanently in Blood Bowl. That can happen. At least in our league you can. Then you have to, like, hire a new player, or there's some mechanic that's like, take on the journeyman, and that does something, but I don't remember what it does, because none of my players have died yet. They've gotten injured, but they're fine. I've got a necromantic horrors team for Blood Bowl. They are killer clowns from outer space inspired. So they're painted to look like little green aliens, and then they have like red Mars bases with various bits of circus detritus on there. So little cotton candies and little popcorn buckets. Oh, in Age of Sigmar. No, sorry. This is for Blood Bowl. I play both Age of Sigmar and Blood Bowl fairly regularly. I am very fortunate to have some great hobby spaces and some good hobby friends that I can game with. My local game store puts on pretty regular events and tournaments and stuff for us to play in, so it's quite nice. I'm spoiled for choice. Great horrible movie, absolutely. Yep. It's terrible. It's not a good movie, but it's terrible in all the best ways. I had the great pleasure of watching Killer Clowns with Outer Space alongside my friend Mark, who had never seen it, and was like, this is the worst. This is so bad. It was so good. I had so much fun. Yeah. Like, I think my favorite part in that movie is, like, 15 minutes in or so, and you just realize that it's going to be ridiculous from there on out, because the clowns are trying to track someone down for some reason, and they just make a balloon animal dog out of a balloon, which then comes to life and, like, sniffs the ground and starts tracking the person that they're looking for. And it is very clearly just a balloon animal dog on, like, a string. It's it's so bad. I love it, though. It's campy. It's dumb, but it's great. I think they tried to make a sequel at one point, but then it never got off the ground. And, like, I can't blame that sequel for not having happened, but I think it could be for the best that we never got more Killer Clowns from Outer Space, because then it would just be like, you know, like Nightmare on Elm Street or something like that, where they just keep making them. Like, it's perfectly fine to exist just as it is. A flawed but fun watch every Halloween. Try Highway to Hell. Hard to find, but worth it if you like those kind of movies. I might check that out. Um, it's not typically the kind of movie that I like. I'm usually pretty pretentious with the kind of films that I enjoy. Um, Although I don't know if that's entirely true. Mad Max Fury Road is my favorite movie of all time. That is the best one. I love it so much. Uh, what other movies do I like? What do I tell people to watch? Knives Out is really good. That's fairly recent. The Fall, directed by Tarsum Singh, is fantastic. I think everybody should watch that film. It's just really cool to look at. There are other movies that I like. I own so many movies, and I'm like, I'm drawing a blank. I've never once seen a movie in my life. What are you talking about? I've literally shelves full of movies. I mean, Alien is pretty good. Of course, I like Pan's Labyrinth and Shape of Water. Anything that Del Toro's done really is pretty good. It's probably my favorite director. He just gets it, you know? Just gets it. I will watch pretty much any bad or good, but anything that's like high fantasy or dark fantasy that goes really heavy on the aesthetics, I'll just watch it because I'm like, maybe this will be good and maybe it won't, but it sure as hell is gonna look cool. First two Mad Maxes are awesome. I mean, Fury Road is really the one for me. The earlier ones, I don't know. I don't think I get into them quite as heavily as Fury Road, because, you know, there was a budget very clearly for the first two. Probably the first. Is it 3? I think there's 3. I think Fury Road is the 4th. I've got taste like your daughter in movies. I mean, that's fair. I swear I have good recommendations and stuff, but I'm just not thinking of them right now. I feel like everything that I've seen recently is either too modern or it's not something that I would recommend to people. Maybe your daughter just has good taste in movies, though. That could also be it. That could also be it. She likes those movies, too? Good. Good taste. Good taste. Baby Driver is really good. I like a couple of Edgar Wright's films quite a bit. I think that Hot Fuzz is probably one of the most well-made films ever. Like, everything in that film just ties into something else. They spend everything they set up has payoff, which I really like. I don't feel like any of my time is wasted at all while watching that film. Which I think is also why I like Fury Road a lot, because everything that they set up has payoff. I have a hard time watching movies where it's like stuff is just happening for some reason, and that's what we're gonna do today. I think, oh man, I don't want to give too many spicy takes. I don't want to alienate the people who watch this by just being like, this thing is bad and I don't like it. But I'll just say some popular films that people like a lot. I just feel like I don't get a whole lot out of. So my taste might just tip a bit more into this thing is not quite as popular, but I do think that it's good. And then, of course, you know, you get me started on obscure animated films or anything like that, and I just go on for years about all that nonsense. Shaun of the Dead is great. Yes. Yes, it is. The whole Cornetto trilogy really is pretty good. Hot Fuzz is my favorite out of the three of them, but I'd watch any one on pretty much any day. I can't believe that Shaun of the Dead is the first film that Edgar Wright made. Like, way to hit the scene with a banger. It's so good. No, I did not, Ano. I will do that. I will do that tonight before my episode of Archive 81. Because you said it's only 3 minutes long, so I should be able to knock that out. So I'll do that, and then the next time I stream and you're here when you should be sleeping, I will give you my opinion on it. Promise. Cross my heart and swear on my orcs. I don't know if you can swear on your Warhammer armies, but you know, that feels appropriate. I would never swear on my cat's lives, just in case, but I'd be willing to sacrifice a orc or two to some eldritch deity if I had to. Yeah, I think what did I watch on Sunday? I know I sat around and watched some amount of TV, but I honestly don't remember what it was, so oh, I was in a spiral of watching cartoons from the 1930s. That's what I was doing. It was research for a video that I plan on making, so it wasn't aimless, but I also didn't need to watch entire, like, hours worth of 1930s cartoon films. I was having fun. Which is a totally justifiable reason to do stuff. So I watched that, and then I watched the Transformers movie. So I just watched cartoons on Sunday when I, could have been getting through. Although the Transformers movie was a recommendation, so still counts. Still on brand. I like this though. This is a nice relationship because y'all keep having recommendations, and this means that it is unlikely that I'm ever going to be sitting around like, oh man, I don't know what to watch and I have no idea. And everybody's asleep, so I can't just ask random people for recommendations. I'll just have my list of stuff that you lovely folks have told me to watch. I can get through it, have a discussion about it. It'll be great. I'm excited now. Yeah, check that out when I'm done streaming. And I should probably really start cranking through Archive 81 so I don't do that thing where I watch the first episode and go, oh, this is pretty good, and then I never watch the rest of it, so I forget the plot, and then I'm like, I don't want to watch the first episode again. I did watch a couple days back. I watched maybe weeks back, but I did watch The House on Netflix, that stop motion horror anthology that they made. That was pretty good. I would like more people to combine stop motion and horror. I think I said this before on a stream, but let's we need to find a way to make that happen, because I feel like those two media are just made for each other. They really, really are, and I need more of it. I hope that Netflix or someone funds more of it, because I need it. I just need it. It'd be really nice. We should have a stop motion resurgence. You know what? I don't think it'll happen, but I'm gonna put it on my 2022 bingo card, because I want it to happen. In between all the horrible stuff that's gonna happen, we should have a stop motion renaissance. Let's just write it down and hope that it happens. Stranger things have happened, so it's not outside of the realm of possibilities. Is it unlikely? Sure. But it's not impossible. I'll make it happen. I'll stop motion animate more things. I've got that Mothman. I might as well use him. I have been thinking of making a tiny apron for him to wear, because I feel like he doesn't quite fit in with the sugar candy theme just yet. And I think a tiny apron would really tie him together. And also, it would fit around his wings, which currently kind of prevent that from being viable. I tried to put a little vest on him that another one of my stuffed animals had, but his wings were like, fuck off, we're not going to do that. So I think I need to get him a tiny apron and maybe a tiny chef's hat, because these are the things that, apparently concern me. I did not paint the spear. Whew. Gonna try and finish this green base coat, and then I'll probably call it a night and get to watching some stuff. So maybe like 20 more minutes of streaming is probably what we'll do. Been streaming for almost 2 hours, and it is Monday, so gotta try and get some rest in there somewhere. I did not paint the other side of that blade, and I should have. Current me almost forgot to paint the spear. Past me forgot to paint the spear. Make him the Candy Man from Willy Wonka. I mean, that'd be cool, but I feel like when I think of the Candy Man from Willy Wonka, I think of his, like, striped shirt, and again, the wings make shirts or anything with a back kind of hard for my Mothman to wear, so, like, a little apron would be fine, because I can just sort of finagle the straps how I need them to, but, a shirt and a little bow tie, while cute, could be a bit difficult. But I'm down to incorporate more Willy Wonka into my work. I think that's, I'll just channel my inner Gene Wilder. Young Frankenstein. That's another one of my favorite films. I love Young Frankenstein. I think it's hilarious. Another one that I watch every Halloween. Or really, almost every chance I get an excuse to watch Young Frankenstein. Cracks me up. I need to watch Blazing Saddles, because everybody says that's really good, but I haven't seen it yet. And that's kind of, the same Gene Wilder madness. Yeah, the one who sells Charlie the golden ticket. Exactly. I know who the Candy Man from Willy Wonka is. I know who you're talking about. Do you know how many times I've seen that film? I own it on VHS, sir. I have that going in my kitchen all the time. And while he does have like a little shop apron, I mostly think of his nice little striped shirt He's got like a barbershop quartet shirt almost. Maybe it's just me liking stripes and patterns. That could be why that's the part of that costume that sticks out to me. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is also, like, I remember as a kid thinking it was such a long movie too. Like, I liked it for that because I would just be absorbed in it for that much longer, but I don't think it's really, in the grand scheme of things, is all that long. I think I usually, like, when I was really little, I would fall asleep during the part with Mike TV in the room with the Wonka vision. I don't know why that part always put me to sleep. Mel Brooks is a genius, yeah. Undeniably. Did you hear that they're making another Willy Wonka film, but they're having Timothy Chalamet as a young Willy Wonka? Like, that's their premise? I feel like not enough people have heard that is happening. The same kid that they got to play, probably most of the people on this channel will know him as that kid that played Paul in Dune. That guy's gonna be a young Willy Wonka. And don't even get me started on my opinions about Dune the movie. I have not read Dune the books. And if you want some hot, spicy takes, ask me about Dune the movie sometimes. Because, very spicy opinions. You remember your brother having the audio cassette throwback of Willy Wonka, and you only heard the blueberry part, so you were weirded out. Yeah, I feel like that's fair. That's very fair. I don't blame you for that, Anno. That's a very valid part to be weirded out by. I mean, there was a lot of other weird stuff happening in Willy Wonka, but if you're gonna pick an example, definitely the blueberry part is one where you can just be like, what the fuck? And everybody's gonna be like, yeah, that's justified. Maybe that's what I should decorate my house with. Get some Willy Wonka style lickable wallpaper. Put that up. Like a pineapple. Tastes like a pineapple. A snozzberry. Tastes like a snozzberry. Who ever heard of a snozzberry? Another one in the list of movies that if I tried really hard, I might be able to recite from memory. That's how many times I've seen it. Or at least give you a shot-by-shot description. Someone's got to test me on that one day. Just be like, alright, pick the film that you think you know the best and see if you can actually do the thing you think you can do. Can I actually recite something, start to finish, or describe it shot for shot? I feel like I'm allowed to, due to my name, I'm allowed to have 5, like, infractions there, you know, but it would be very cool to see how far I can make it into a film that I've seen a million times. But I don't know if that says more about me or more about the film. Probably more about me and how I choose to spend my waking hours, but we all can't be perfect, you know? Some of us be out there investing in cryptocurrency and NFTs, and me, I just rewatch a film that I've already seen. Not all of us can be out there doing crazy stuff. Almost done with the base coats. That's gonna be really nice. We'll get, like, you know, there's still some details that we gotta fill in before we get them into the wash stage, but these guys are painting up fast. I think at this point, a lot of it's just I freaking remember my Cruel Boys recipe pretty easily. Painted like 40 of them, 50 of them at this point. It's a lot. Just a lot of orcs. So many of the orcs. Whether people asked for it or not, because they were, for some reason, on the poll I made, asking people about which of my armies they wanted to see showcased the most, Cruel Boys were the least popular choice by a significant margin, unfortunately. So, whether my audience cares for it or not, when I finish this army, they're getting a showcase. They're gonna look cool, and people are gonna stand back and be like, alright, those are some candy orcs. I'm not forcing anyone to appreciate them, but I am gonna show them off to some capacity, because I am very proud of them. Seriously, why no love for Cruel Boys? What's wrong with watching the classics? Nothing. Nothing at all. I'm just saying, there are films that I've probably seen well over 100 times, and there are a lot of films that I haven't seen even once. So I could, like, you know, I could expand my horizons every now and again. Strike a healthier balance between the new and the old. All right. Well, that is another boy base coated. Made some good progress. We've got that troll drying. His wash is on, so he will definitely be finished up next time I sit down to paint. I'll probably just knock him out. All the rest of our boys have some more color on them, so they're moving right along. Hopefully they'll be done by the time I need them. And I can start on the resin pour bases for these guys. What have I gotten into? But I'm excited to get them finished up. I'll be sad, though, when I'm actually done. When I don't have any more Cruel Boys that I need to paint, as much as I seem like I'm bitching about it. It'll be really weird when I've finished this army and don't have anything left to do in the realm of Cruel Boys. Be like, so what if we took that 2,000 points? I'm sorry, Dr. Divine. I'm just finishing up for the night. We had some fun, but I am actually starting to get a bit of a headache, so I need to step away from stuff that takes too much focus. In addition to having finished base coating, which was kind of my goal for tonight. So I'm going to be wrapping up the stream. I don't know if I'll be streaming tomorrow, but I should stream again this week before too long. If there's a day that works for you, Dr. Divine, you're one of my patrons, so you send me a message on Patreon, you let me know. I'll see if I can make it work for you so that you can hang around for a little bit. But for now, I am going to go watch that thing that Anno recommended and an episode of Archive 81 and just chill out for a little bit. So I hope you all have a good rest of your week. I'll be back before you know it with more spicy takes and some fun antics. See you then!